This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Changes are coming to the province's largest hospital in hopes of making it safer. The Health Sciences Centre will now have 2 police officers stationed in its emergency department around the clock. But as CBC's Bartley Kivas reports, the nurses' union would have preferred to see money spent a different way.
Winnipeg's Health Sciences Centre, Manitoba's largest hospital, is a public safety issue following a series of sexual assaults in the area, a bomb threat, and other violent incidents. The NDP government now plans to spend $1.6 million a year to station 2 police at the hospital. Manitoba's health minister says dedicated cops can improve safety and free up patrol officers from patient transport duties.
On any given day, any given hour, if you've been at HSC, you can see there are multiple police cruisers, a number of police officers often just waiting to transfer or hand off patients. And so we know that this is a better utilization of their time.
This police deployment follows a Manitoba Nurses Union vote in August to greylist the HSC, a move that discourages nurses from taking jobs at the hospital due to the safety concerns. The union says it welcomes police at HSC in the short term.
This is a direct result of a response to the grey listing. I mean, the nurses at Health Sciences are incredibly courageous to have stood up and said, hey, we're not taking this anymore.
2 police officers is not what the Manitoba Nurses Union was asking for. They wanted more institutional safety officers trained in de-escalation, and not just 2 of them, but dozens more.
Having institutional safety officers that are equipped and trained to do what they should be doing is a better use of our dollars.
The province also intends to install more security scanners at HSC. The PC opposition calls this plan a knee-jerk reaction.
The Nurses Union has demanded actual deliverable results, and this government comes forward with 2 police officers.
The reaction of other leaders is also mixed. Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham said he supports the idea of police at the hospital, but wished the Canoe government gave him the heads up.
This one I was not aware of.
Winnipeg Police Chief Gene Bowers also said in a statement details of this deployment are still being worked out. The province says the 2 dedicated police should be deployed here at the hospital this fall. Bartley Kivas, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A Manitoba mom is questioning the justice system and pushing for bail reform. The man accused of killing her daughter in a car crash was out on bail at the time. Now, while awaiting trial, the family says he breached his bail again. Late today, he was arrested. The CBC's Felicia Adam has the story.
Michelle and Ron Best want answers.
He thumbs his nose up at a judge.
He's talking about the man accused in their daughter's death. Kelly Veraway was killed in a crash earlier this year. The accused, James Lorne Hilton, was out on bail at the time with a warrant out for his arrest. In July, a judge approved Hilton to be released on bail with the condition he stay in a treatment center in Winnipeg. The family says Hilton broke bail again. They told the Justice Minister he needs to do more to keep an eye on repeat offenders.
They promised our family, hundreds of us in the gallery, that there would be changes, that there would be substantial, we can see it, changes. And I was honest with Mr. Wiebe. We Manitobans, we can't see it.
The family was backed by the PCs.
This is not justice. This is an absolute failure of this justice system.
A warrant for Hilton's arrest was issued Tuesday afternoon. RCMP arrested him about an hour later. There's no information on how Hilton was able to leave the center. Wiebe says the province has a 5-point plan. Part of it is hiring police officers to track down people breaking bail conditions. Wiebe says bail reform can only come from the federal government.
What that means today is making sure that we have every provincial resource that we have to make sure that we're supporting WPS and law enforcement to catch this guy.
We asked Stats Canada and the federal government for data on how many people out on bail commit crimes. They both said they didn't have those numbers. Felicia Adam, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A Winnipeg-based foundation wants to hit the brakes on trafficking in the trucking industry. Newcomers looking for work are often exploited. Now, a new campaign is shining a light on labor trafficking, which one group says for too long has been a hidden issue. CBC's Mike Arsenault has more.
These signs hope to raise awareness about labor trafficking. The Joy Smith Foundation, a human trafficking authority, says labor trafficking in trucking is a growing problem.
There are hundreds of individuals that are suffering in silence in this particular situation right here in our province as we speak, so it's a significant issue.
The foundation says in the trucking industry, temporary foreign workers, international students, and newcomers are targeted. It means workers drive for low wages, work extreme hours, and in unsafe conditions.
It means that untrained drivers are actually on our highways, and they're in trucks that aren't roadworthy. And so this creates dangerous road conditions for all of us.
The goal of the Know the Signs, Report the Crime campaign is to get the public to be more aware. Notice if someone is anxious, talking about their job, or underpaid. The Manitoba Trucking Association says labor trafficking is a challenge for the whole industry.
On making it harder for legitimate companies to compete with companies that are not paying appropriate labor wages, not maintaining their equipment, not held to that same standard that is expected.
Crime Stoppers is part of the campaign offering anonymity.
Victims don't want to come forward because one of the things they do is they hold that threat over their head that they will be deported back to their country and they won't be able to stay in Canada.
25 billboards and 50 buses are part of the campaign launched Tuesday. Mike Arsenault, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Appalling. That's the word one doctor used to describe some of the wait times at a Winnipeg emergency department. He says there are days patients are waiting too long for care, and it's having an impact on the sick and the hospital staff working to treat them. The CBC's Alana Cole reports.
A 7.5-hour wait at the emergency department at St. Boniface Hospital posted Tuesday at 11:06 in the morning. At 1:51 Monday afternoon, the wait here, 11.5 hours. Dr. Noam Cates works at the St. Boniface ER. He says some patients have waited 10 to 20 hours plus to access care.
Appalling, I think, is the first thing that I think, because you can imagine your loved one or yourself having to go sit through something like that. And this isn't the healthcare dream that I think we all believe in or expect.
He says it takes its toll on staff too.
We expect challenging medicine, and that's our job, and we've all trained for that and agreed to do this. So this is what we expect. But when you have these delays and the inability to provide the care that you should be able to, this is when we talk about things like moral injury and burnout.
Kate says one issue, access block, not being able to move patients out of the ER to other areas of the hospital that are full. In some cases, he says patients no longer need to be at St. Boniface Hospital, but there are delays getting them to another hospital, a personal care home, or home care.
Manitoba's health minister says they're trying to reduce wait times, including adding more than 300 beds to the system, which was cut under the previous government. The health minister says they're also adding spaces to personal care homes.
This is a marathon, not a sprint, right? I can't emphasize enough. It is much easier to cut a bed than it is to add a fully staffed bed. It is much easier to close 3 major emergency rooms than it is to reopen a major emergency room.
The health minister says the Winnipeg Health Region has seen an improvement in access blocks since last summer, a 14% decrease. Cates knows health officials are trying.
So I can't say that they're not doing enough, but what I can say is that we're not seeing enough benefit to our patients.
The province introduced a team to lower wait times. A spokesperson says an update on their work is coming later this week. Alana Cole, CBC News, Winnipeg.
All right, let's bring in weather specialist Riley Laychuk. And Riley, we were just talking about it being sweater weather.
Yes, I know.
And you saying you're wearing shorts all the time. Well, the shorts didn't come out today, even though it was hot.
Still time left to do that. They'll come out after the show, Brittany. Yeah, pretty banner day, very summer-like across much of the province, really the southern and central halves of the province under very above seasonal conditions for this time of the year. Just to put some of these numbers into perspective, we should be around 19 or 20 for this time of the year across the south. 27 in Melita, Winnipeg, 26 degrees this afternoon, just a little over that 26-degree mark, 24s, 25s into parts of the west, and 16 in Thompson. So some cooler air still in the north. That's because we're seeing some winds off of the Hudson Bay coast, cooling things down slightly. Ridge of high pressure really keeping us sunny throughout the day, not just in Manitoba, but right through Saskatchewan and parts of Alberta as well. As we head into the overnight hours, we are looking at a clear sky tonight, double digits down to 10 degrees overnight. Like last night, the risk of maybe some patchy fog again through southeastern parts of the province. Not as widespread as it was overnight last night, but just the risk is there as we get through the night. 11 degrees, mostly sunny skies first thing in the morning, and we're doing this again tomorrow. Sunshine, 26 in the afternoon, Brittany. Maybe a bit of rain later in the week. I'll have more on that when I come back in just a bit.
All right, keep those sandals handy for now. Thank you, Riley.
You're welcome.
It was one of the largest sewage leaks in Winnipeg's history. Why it's going to take longer to repair and cost more than expected. That story after the break.
new sewer crossing under the Red River at the Fort Garry Bridge was supposed to be done this fall, but the city now says it's going to take until June 2026. The leak in February 2024 led to the discharge of more than 200 million litres of untreated sewage into the Red River. The city set up an emergency bypass system while it works to replace the underground pipes. The price tag of that work, first estimated at just under $19 million, has ballooned to nearly $27 million, a 43% jump. The city says only one company bid on the contract. There are no local contractors who can handle the micro-tunneling work, and specialized equipment is in short supply. Water and Waste Director Tim Shanks says they had expected to complete the work this fall, but shifted focus to making the temporary bypass system more reliable.
It has a slightly more capacity than the actual previous crossing had, the existing crossing. So it's actually an improvement over what was there before. But that actually required us to spend some design time with the design engineer and some construction time there, which delayed the design of the permanent crossing.
Long wait times for parts and Winnipeg's winters could cause further delays and cost increases. In other city finance news, the latest budget forecast shows a slight improvement in the city's deficit. It's down $1.2 million from the first quarter forecast, but the city still has $18 million in savings left to find in order to balance the budget. Cameron McLean, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The city has broken ground on construction of a new transit garage. The facility is being built in northwest Winnipeg at Selkirk Avenue and Oak Point Highway. The city says it will be state-of-the-art and is projected to cost $200 million. It's being funded by all three levels of government. The garage will be large enough to house and maintain the city's articulate or bendy buses, along with its zero-emission ones.
At every point, we are making investments to make a better transit system, a more modern transit system and service for a modern city. It's our intentional goal to make transit a viable option for more and more Winnipeggers.
It will also have electrical chargers and dispensers for 24 battery electric buses. Construction is set to be completed in 2027. Agricultural ministers are meeting in Manitoba this week for critical talks on the future of the industry. The meetings come as global trade disruptions and retaliatory tariffs pose problems for canola producers. CBC's Zubina Ahmed reports.
Canada's agriculture sector got a blow last month as China slapped a 75.8% tariff on Canadian canola. An annual conference of the agriculture ministers is being held in Winnipeg to discuss the tariffs and trade uncertainty. Heath MacDonald, Federal Minister of Agriculture and Agri-Food, and Ron Kostishin, Manitoba's Minister of Agriculture, acknowledged the challenges canola producers are facing.
I want farmers to know that we're doing everything possible to make them successful, sustainable, and to ensure that the next generation coming up to farm can have the same opportunities that their forefathers had.
I know the challenges what producers are going through. And I want to commit all ministers that are behind me and the federal agriculture minister. We value their occupation.
China's tariff on canola was widely seen as a response to Canada's 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles. Farmers think removing those tariffs could convince the Chinese to remove their retaliatory fees on canola. Minister MacDonald calls this a very volatile situation.
We haven't been told exactly what China wants through that communication, but that's certainly something that we're looking at. I believe on Friday, Prime Minister Carney mentioned about Canadians deserve cheaper electric cars. So, and the EV situation in Canada is being reviewed right now. It's being repealed a little bit, and so that is something that we're looking at.
Prime Minister Mark Carney announced a funding of $370 million to support the Canadian canola producers last week. Meanwhile, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe is in China right now trying to negotiate a reduction in tariffs. Zubina Ahmed, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A judge will take the next few weeks to decide whether to toss a Winnipeg sexual assault case against former fashion mogul Peter Nygard. Nygard was charged with sexual assault in 2020 for an incident that allegedly occurred in Winnipeg in 1993. Police spoke with the woman back then, but those records are gone. Nygard's lawyer argues that prevents him from getting a fair trial. Prosecutors say lost evidence shouldn't stop the trial from moving forward because the complainant will still be questioned in court. The judge is deciding on those next steps, and the trial right now is scheduled for December. A Leaf Rapids resident says support is urgently needed to help evacuees returning home after being displaced by wildfires this summer. 300 people had to leave when the town declared a local state of emergency in July. The manager of the local co-op store says many homes are still without power, with fridges full of spoiled food. The province tells CBC it's reviewing its financial assistance. Meantime, Manitoba Hydro expected to have power restored for most Leaf Rapids customers yesterday. Riley's back in now, and I feel like we had a bit of a fall fake-out last week.
That's a good way of putting it.
Now summer is back. The sandals, the sunglasses, the shorts.
Yeah, and you got out for a long walk on your lunch break today.
I will tell you, don't wear sandals for a long walk. Put some proper shoes on.
I'm a little jealous. But a perfect day to get out
It really was.
on your lunch
and
break
still
today.
Time.
Tomorrow, a carbon copy of today, another great one to get outside. I'm going to start with temperatures, big picture, just to show you how far west and how far south some of this heat extends. So just looking at some of our afternoon temperatures, Edmonton at 30 degrees, 26 in Calgary, 27 through Saskatchewan, yes, closer to 30 into parts of North Dakota, even Bismarck at 28 degrees this afternoon. So this warmth, all because of a ridge that's built in the jet stream, and you can kind of see that outline here as this ridge builds up well into the territory. So this is going to fuel temperatures above seasonal for this time of the year for several days yet across much of the province. However, there's a bit of weather in between there that I am watching. So mostly sunny skies really right across the Prairie provinces, right through northwestern Ontario. But things change a bit as we get into the day on Wednesday. There's an area of low pressure over the territories that pushes eastward, and there's a weak cold front that pushes down along with this. And as this sinks a little bit further south and a little bit further east, this could trigger some showers into northern parts of the province as we get into the day on Thursday through northeastern Manitoba along the Hudson Bay coast. However, as this passes, it does trigger maybe some cloud cover, some scattered showers across the south even because of another low that's sitting just south of the border. So a couple of systems at play here. All this being said, as we head Thursday through Friday, fairly good chance that we'll see some showers across southern Manitoba, pretty scattered in nature, I think. But as we get into early Friday, there's that potential of even seeing some thunderstorm activity into the mix as well. So yes, a couple of unsettled days ahead. Maybe some fog overnight tonight once again, looking at some of our visibility numbers into the early morning. I mean, not as widespread as this map was yesterday, and certainly not as widespread as we saw conditions this morning with some places, particularly in the southeast, looking at visibilities that were close to the zero mark. But just know that in the morning tomorrow, again, there's the chance that we do run into maybe a bit of patchy fog into parts of the province before we get into another bright and sunny day. Right now, rainfall looking at the potential for maybe 5 millimeters, but where we do see some of these thunderstorms, the forecast modeling indicating some enhancement there. So just keep an eye on that as we head through the next couple of days here. Temperature-wise, 27s in the west through the afternoon, 28 in Melita and Swan River, and some cooler air still in northern Manitoba. Looking at 26 tomorrow afternoon in Winnipeg, Brittany. There's that chance of showers as we head Thursday into Friday, maybe a couple rumbles of thunder, and the weekend looking above seasonal at 26 on Saturday.
Summer's holding on.
Yes,
Thank you, Riley.
You're welcome.
Here's some shots of our city from above as we head to break. We have much more straight ahead. Stay with us. Hamas says its top leaders have survived an Israeli-targeted strike in Qatar's capital. The strike on a territory of a U.S. ally in the Middle East is seen as a shocking escalation. Sasha Petrusik has the latest on the fallout from Jerusalem.
In the diplomatic quarter of Doha in Qatar, there was a huge explosion and black smoke filled the sky. Israel had fired missiles at one particular building where it knew that Hamas negotiators would be getting together and trying to go over an American proposal that had been presented. As far as Israel was concerned, this was going to be a show of strength.
At the beginning of the war, I promised that Israel would reach those who perpetrated this horror. And today, Israel and I have kept that promise.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been under considerable pressure from his base and his coalition partners to keep fighting. And then when there was a terror attack in the north end of Jerusalem, he says that was the final straw. He decided to attack Hamas negotiators.
And this action can open the door to an end of the war in Gaza.
But it seems like Israel is much more prepared to resolve this Gaza war on the battlefield, not at the negotiating table. It is preparing a major assault on Gaza City, which is the biggest area of population in the Strip still. 1 million people are there. Over the past days, it has launched multiple airstrikes. They have been ramping up, and it has troops and tanks ready to go in. It issued a final warning to the population to get out because an attack was imminent. The White House says it informed Doha, but officials in Qatar say they didn't really know what was happening until they heard the explosions. There was widespread condemnation internationally in the Gulf, even from countries that are relatively friendly to Israel, like the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, who called all of this cowardly and criminal. As for Hamas, it says 6 of its officials were killed, but not the top leaders doing the negotiating. And it says this changes nothing in its hard negotiating stance. Sasha Petrusik, CBC News, Jerusalem.
The Trump administration has offered an official response to the Israeli strike in Doha. U.S. officials say they were alerted before the attack, but stopped short of endorsing it. CBC's Aaron Collins has more from Washington.
The White House between a rock and a hard place today. That tough spot coming after one ally in the Gulf region launched an attack on another. The White House says that while it condemns Hamas, it doesn't condone the attack by Israel.
The Trump administration was notified by the United States military that as Israel was attacking Hamas, which very unfortunately was located in a section of Doha, the capital of Qatar. Unilaterally bombing inside Qatar, a sovereign nation and close ally of the United States that is working very hard and bravely taking risks with us to broker peace, does not advance Israel or America's goals.
The U.S. says that it immediately notified Qatari officials when it learned about the attack. What remains unclear is how exactly the U.S. military caught wind of it. What is clear is that the airstrike, which was quickly condemned by Qatar, is a blow to peace negotiations. That country had been playing a key role in mediating ceasefire talks. Still, the White House remains optimistic, saying the attack could provide an opportunity to move those talks forward.
The president has always made it very clear that he wants peace in the Middle East, just like he sought that and accomplished that in his first term. He expects all of our allies and friends in the region, that includes both Qatar and Israel, to seek peace as well, and he wants to see that happen.
This morning's airstrike also comes a day after a gunman killed 6 people in Jerusalem. Hamas has claimed responsibility for those killings. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Washington.
A warning now that viewers may find some of the video in this next story disturbing. A Russian bomb has killed 24 people and injured 19 others in a village in eastern Ukraine. Ukrainian officials say it happened as people stood in line to collect their monthly pensions. It's prompted calls to step up the pressure on Russia by imposing more sanctions. The CBC's Anna Cunningham reports.
The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has shared a post on the social messaging app Telegram. In it, he describes this as an aerial bomb. He says the victims were ordinary civilians. They were older people out collecting their pensions. Now, this is said to have happened in the village of Yarova in eastern Donetsk. CBC News has not been able to independently verify the footage. What you see are bodies scattered around trees and close to a burned-out vehicle near a playground, and on the ground are papers, clothes and shoes. This is an area of eastern Donetsk. It's about 8 kilometers from the front line, and it was previously taken by Russia but then retaken by Ukraine. Moscow claims this area as part of Russia despite not having full control over it, and it's also an area that Russia wants as part of any future peace deal with Ukraine. Now, in President Zelensky's post, he describes this as a brutally savage Russian airstrike. These strikes must not be left without an appropriate response from the world. He's urging that response to come from the United States, from Europe and the G20. And he really is asking for that pressure to be put on Russia to accelerate the end of the war. Whether he will get that from President Donald Trump remains unclear. On Sunday, he said he was not happy about the latest Russian strikes on Ukraine. He did repeat his threat to impose more sanctions on Russia, but for now, he is yet to formally confirm if he will follow through on his words. Anna Cunningham, CBC News, London.
Anti-government protests in Nepal are becoming increasingly violent, even after the country's prime minister resigned and the recent ban on social media was lifted. Crystal Gamansing looks at what's fueling the public rage now.
Engulfed in smoke as the Nepalese parliament burned, anti-corruption demonstrators celebrated. They succeeded in forcing Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli to resign Tuesday, along with 2 of his cabinet ministers. To our now former Prime Minister, I must say that the resignation from your post is not enough, says this student protester. Clashes between mostly young demonstrators and police continued even after the government lifted its ban on social media. Protesters want an end to what they say is a corrupt government rife with nepotism and unwilling to address a failing economy. At least 22 people have been killed and hundreds injured. Nepal's army accuses protesters of taking advantage of the crisis by looting and setting fires. But ignoring an indefinite curfew, protests intensified.
People are just furious.
Nirnaya Bhatta witnessed the anger on the streets firsthand. He says the social media ban lit the fuse.
I think the need now is, utter sincerity, from the state, from the government, and anybody who actually is at the helm of, running the country.
Nepal became a democratic republic in 2008. In the process, thousands died as political groups fought the monarchy, the police, military, and each other for control. Nepal's Army Chief of Staff noted the bloodshed past and present as he called for unity, asking demonstrators to cancel future actions and engage in talks. Crystal Gamansing, CBC News, London.
There's new concern about the dramatic surge in the volume of ads promoting sports betting in Canada, including warnings that kids who are exposed now could become addicted when they grow up. Alison Northcott with what's driving those fears.
At Bet365, we believe every moment should be never ordinary.
Ads for betting apps have become unavoidable for sports fans.
Make it a place you'll never forget. BetMGM Sportsbook.
But some doctors are warning gambling advertising insidiously normalizes a harmful activity, writing in an editorial the promotion of sports betting is a willful mortgage of Canada's future to the interests of private profit and tax revenue. Canada began allowing single-game bets in 2021. The next year, Ontario became the only province to allow private companies to operate online sports betting sites legally. But their ads can be seen across the country, including by kids, says this adolescent addiction medicine specialist.
What I have seen is an increase in harms from gambling for people who are under the age where they should be legally allowed to engage in any gambling.
At North Star Bets, that's prompting calls for more rules, including limiting how many ads are allowed, how often they appear, and when.
Ever since it was legalized, it's everywhere now.
The in-between plays, they're always playing it around. It's becoming actually quite annoying seeing a lot of it.
Experts say problem gambling has been associated with increased risks of suicide and substance use disorders, and starting early can have long-term consequences.
Most men, anyway, who have a gambling problem in their lifetime start gambling before the age of 19, sometimes as early as 10.
Last year, Ontario banned athletes and restricted the use of celebrities in sports betting ads.
It's foolish to gamble with the health and well-being of Canadians.
And a Senate bill is calling for more restrictions right across Canada. But the industry says there are already safeguards.
What they want to do is prevent minors from gambling and limiting people with problems. And that comes through education and awareness.
Alberta could soon follow Ontario's lead. The province plans to launch a private, regulated online gaming market of its own. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
Trailer park tensions. Why some residents are feeling they aren't welcome in the neighborhood. We'll have more on the unfriendly fight straight ahead. Stay with us. Residents in a North Winnipeg trailer park say they're feeling unwelcome in their own neighborhood. It comes after someone spray painted graffiti on their mailboxes and had an anonymous letter sent telling them to stay out of a nearby park. CBC's Jim Agapito has that story.
So how many units do you have in your Guido?
157.
Guido Sarasani is proud of his community. He's the president of River Grove Mobile Home Estates, which used to be called the Northgate Trailer Park.
I think you can drive through the park, and it's a very well-kept park and affordable housing for people that want to stay in the area without living in an apartment or a condo.
But a conflict has come between the mobile home residents and their neighbors in River Grove, which borders the community. A sign saying "keep out" and the words "trailer trash" were spray painted on the mailboxes.
And then I opened it up, and I was even more surprised at, the wording in it.
Most recently, an anonymous letter was sent to the mobile home residents, warning them not to walk their dogs in a nearby park, accusing them of not picking up after their pets.
I can perceive it as a threat that, our tenants are somehow not supposed to use River Grove Drive. I don't believe that any of our tenants are the type that would throw their dog waste or not pick it up.
Mobile home resident Joan Werman says the complaint stems from stigma people have towards trailer parks.
The old saying, trailer trash. We're not worthy of anything, but we all have. I got a 1,675 square foot home. It's beautiful.
But River Grove resident Greg Ferens feels differently.
Myself, I'm saying, hey, you're welcome here, but not with your dogs, and because you're not cleaning up after your dogs. Simple as that.
We're at the dead end of River Grove Drive.
The recent letter isn't the only area of tension. There was an attempt to extend River Grove Drive into the mobile home park, but the plan failed when residents on that street complained it would increase traffic. North Kildonian City Councillor Jeff Brawadi represents the area.
I mean, it's truly unfortunate. I mean, everybody wants everyone to be a good neighbor, be welcoming into your community, out of your community, but it does go a little bit both ways too. I mean, if you have a dog, whether you live in a house or in a trailer, I mean, when you're taking your dog for a walk, you should be responsible. You need to pick up after your dog.
Brawadi hopes the road extension project can move forward next year and the neighbors can find a way to get along. Jim Agapito, CBC News, Winnipeg.
We're well into back to school season now, and with that usually comes the start of flu season. Cases of the flu, COVID, and other respiratory illnesses typically rise in the fall, so health experts say now is a good time to get vaccinated. But that can be harder for people in some provinces than others. Alberta announced that last month, most people there will now have to pay $100 for a COVID-19 vaccine, a move the Medical Association calls counterproductive. It's also hand sanitizer season, where everybody's sitting there making sure that they are getting all those germs off and not wanting to bring any of that sickness home.
No, or to work.
Or to work, great. No, we want to stay well rested and well hydrated,
exactly.
Especially with these temperatures. That's not always seeing that in September.
Yeah, I mean, great to get outdoors. I know our sunsets are now before 8 p.m. for much of the province, but still very lovely evenings to get outside. And it's the dry weather that we're needing to complete harvest across the province. So I want to start with our percent of normal precipitation. This is a map that's put together by Manitoba Agriculture. And you'll recall I showed this a week ago. I think it was a couple weeks ago. This is where we were at the start of the season. Much of the province in drought conditions at less than 50% of our normal precipitation for this time of the year. We're going to skip forward. This was as of Sunday, and you can see the map has gotten a little bit lighter, but we're still in this pretty big moisture deficit for much of the Interlake, places like Fisher Branch, through Arborg, even into Eriksdale, across into St. Rose, seeing not a lot of precipitation, not only through the spring months, but really through the summer. So we really need a lot of precipitation through the fall and the winter to really help build up and eliminate that moisture deficit in time for the next growing season. And, some of the longer range forecasting models not showing a ton of precipitation in the forecast. So we'll just have to kind of keep our eye on things and hope that we get some good snow through the winter months as well. All right, time for the dog walking forecast. Tonight we have Ziggy and Doc, who look eager to get out for a walk on a nice sunny day. Thank you, Larry and Lorraine, for sending this picture. And you can send yours to talkback@cbc.ca. As always, getting lots of them. So if you haven't seen yours yet, be patient because it's coming up soon. 26 degrees to the afternoon tomorrow. Light southerly wind, maybe a bit breezy at times, but not much to worry about in terms of any real weather across the province as we get through the next 24 hours, maybe, as I showed you earlier, a bit of rain as we get Thursday into Friday. Overnight temperatures tonight, 10 degrees, 11 degrees through the southern Interlake into the city. 8s and 9s back to the west. Normal low for this time of the year is around 7 degrees, so we are looking at temperatures above seasonal. And in fact, looking at overnight temperatures as we get toward the end of the week, up around 14 and 15 degrees. So significantly warmer than normal for the next while here. Into northern Manitoba, 2 in Gillam overnight, 0 in Shamattawa, but the rest of the region between 7 and around 11 degrees overnight. Mostly sunny skies tomorrow. You can see the leading edge of some of that precipitation starting to move into parts of northwestern Manitoba to Dooley Lake at 19 degrees by the afternoon, but 24s, 26s into the Pas and OCN. Temperatures closer to 30 as we get into Westman tomorrow, Brittany, and 26s and 27s, and mainly sunny skies right into northwestern Ontario. You're welcome.
A rural Manitoba Animal Hospital is helping with life-saving care for wild baby lynx. Now, the lynx is just a few weeks old and was rescued and brought to the Wildlife Haven Rehabilitation Centre. Zoe Nakata is the executive director of the centre and joins me now. Hi, Zoe.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. First off, how did this young lynx come to need your care?
Yeah, it's really a heartbreaking story. You know, this lynx was out in the wild doing its thing with its mom, but our reports say that the mom was killed tragically in a dog attack. And in fact, the baby lynx was at risk of, you know, the same fate until community members stepped in and were able to grab the baby lynx and save her from this pack of dogs.
Do we have a name for the baby lynx?
We don't name patients. You know, here, of course, we want the patient to be healthy and strong, but we're really trying to keep her wild to make sure that she can go back to nature where she belongs. So part of that is making sure that we don't get too attached and we don't treat her, you know, as a pet. So we actually don't name patients.
I understand. I can see that that would be difficult to take them back to the wild once you start getting attached to them. So I understand this is the first ever baby lynx you all have cared for. Tell us a little bit about the type of care she needs and what she's getting.
Yeah, so first ever baby lynx we've received in our 41-year, you know, history. So we're quite excited about the opportunity to care for her. She did come in, you know, thin, weak. She does have an eye injury. So our team is working really hard at getting her strong, getting her stabilized. In the next week or so, we'll be doing surgery on that eyelid to help repair that injury. And then it's a lot of, you know, enrichment, making sure that she has opportunities to develop her wild instincts, because she has no mom or siblings to help her with that. So we're doing that with a lot of toys, natural materials, opportunities to climb around her enclosure, and a lot of really good food for her, proper nutrition. That's all really part of how we make sure that she can grow strong. But she's gonna have to stay with us until the spring, because she would typically be with her mom until the spring. So she's got a long road ahead to make sure that she gets, you know, strong, all the skills she needs to survive in nature. But at this point, we're pretty optimistic about a release in several months.
You kind of touched on it a little bit there, but what do really the next few, I was going to say weeks, but really it is months look like to make sure that she has the best chance of survival in the wild when she is hopefully released?
Yeah, and so we have a strategy that has one part is medical treatment, so making sure we're treating that eye injury, making sure she's getting strong, and then that rehabilitative side where we're making sure that she has opportunities to develop those wild instincts. And part of that means being very hands-off. So we've got, you know, GoPros and trail cams to monitor her behaviors and her progress, giving her all the best foods that she would find out in the wild, opportunities to climb and jump and scratch around and dig. In about a month or so, we're going to move her to an outdoor enclosure, so she'll get used to, you know, living Manitoba winters outside like she should. So we're really going to offer her that progression and get her a little bit more independent as she grows, and then by, you know, spring she should be independent, wild, and strong to go out, you know, strong and free.
Yeah, Zoe, the one thing I noticed was just how big her paws are. Can you tell us a little bit now, because we can see what she looks like, tell us a little bit about her personality and really just how she's been doing there.
Yeah, so yes, those paws are pretty impressive. And we often hear about Lynx having these built-in snowshoes, and now we can see it firsthand. When she came in, she was very weak. She was very timid. But as she's been getting stronger, she's very curious. So we're so excited. We were watching GoPro footage, and she's, jumping in her enclosure. She's digging around. She's exploring. Our team is doing a great job at putting in a lot of natural materials, a lot of new things for her every day. And she's just super curious, very adorable. She's certainly stolen our hearts. We say we try not to get attached, but she's just a very special patient for us.
Amazing. Zoe, thank you and your team for all of the incredible work you're doing, and we hope for an update in a few months to hear that she has been released.
Thanks so much.
Just thought it would be fun. Wiener dog walking a wiener dog.
All right, we'll throw you a bone with this one. The Ontario man taking his dog all around the city dressed as his dog. That story next.
All right, so if you want to know what tomorrow's going to be like, carbon copy from today. Mostly sunny skies, maybe a bit of cloud cover out there. 26 degrees in the afternoon, feeling closer to 30, 31 with the humidity, so touch of humidity out there. Not like a summer humid day by any stretch, but maybe you'll notice it out there. South winds 15, gusting to 30. Your long range looks like this, 24 into Thursday. There's that chance of showers, maybe a couple rumbles of thunder as we head Thursday into Friday. Some peaks of sunshine by the time we get to Friday again. And temperatures remaining above seasonal for this time of the year right through the weekend. 26 for Saturday, 23s and 24s to begin next weekend, maybe a few showers into Monday.
Feels like 31.
I know.
Wow.
It's hard to believe. An Ontario man is using the power of positivity to brighten up his community, and he's becoming somewhat the talk of the town.
I don't know how you can't, with residents hounding him to meet him in person. Christian Davino shares his story in our Daily Lift.
Inside Richard Lutchford's bag sits the key to a great walk. This dog all zipped up and ready to go around his block.
I just thought it would be fun. Wiener dog walking a wiener dog.
Who's that good girl? What started out as just a one-time thing, with his best friend by his side.
And then had reaction and said, hey, maybe this could be fun.
His walks garnering the attention of local dog spotters, posting online with every glimpse they get, garnering quite the following as the undercover dachshund. From antics in the grocery store to drive-through appearances and stops at community events, this dog man has helped to throw a bone back to the region he loves.
Other people just walk by and they're like, oh, I hear you're the local celebrity. I'm like, I'm not a celebrity. I'm just walking my dog, having some fun.
I found you! You did? How are you? But it's those interactions that keep Lutchford going, with no intention to slow down anytime soon.
My slogan, smiles for miles. Let's see how many miles I can get.
With the hope of making the world a better place, one smile at a time. Christian Davino, CBC News, Oshawa.
You know what? We could all use more smiles.
True.
I love that. I
do
found
love
you.
It. You know, I just hope there's some sort of like air source coming into that, because it might get a bit hot, especially on a 26-degree day.
Sticky, sweaty,
yes.
Stinky.
It's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts. We will see you back here tomorrow. Have a great night.